I am one of those guys that grew up in a era where if you were to put a white boy on me in a pickup basketball game, I would have considered it disrespect. Shoot, I would consider it disrespect if the person guarding me was the same height as me, but I never played a professional sport. This was just that's just the time, the generation, of the crossover becoming a popular thing. And me as somebody, when I played, I like to pride myself on having handles. So if you were like trying to guard me, I was just isolation. I'm going to embarrass you, but I'm not saying it to brag, because I heard a story about Larry Bird, who said the same thing. Whenever he had a white guy on him, he considered it disrespect. So to be honest with you, that made me respect him even more, because I know exactly what that feels like. I used to take it as disrespect. You can't guard me, and that mindset, that generation, even though like I watched some 90s basketball, that was the mindset of a lot of that generation of players, excuse me. And it traveled down to the fans, like we wanted to be like Jordan. Larry Bird, I never really gave any, I wasn't interested in his game or anybody from the 80s and so forth. I started watching towards Mike's height, so I'm not a hardcore NBA fan, but I do like the 90s generation, but discovering Larry Bird's career all these years is fascinating, of how good he was. Not just how good he was, but also how bold and brash he was on the court as well. So the title of the video that I'm checking out today is titled "The Best Larry Bird Revenge Story Ever Told." I don't know what it's about. I do see Charles Barkley here, who is one of my favorite players as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into this. Do me a big favor, if you like this type of content on the channel, or if you just want to support the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, but liking the video goes a long way. And then, let's get right into this.
Written letter delivered to Bill Laimbeer before playing a game against him. And it said, "Dear Bill, f*** you. Sincerely, Charles Barkley." And as one might
That's poetry.
expect, they got into a fist fight that game.
And now Barkley gets into it, and he and Laimbeer, and now there are some punches thrown.
And when Robert Parrish, who got into a fight with Laimbeer 3 years in a row, was questioned about Bill Laimbeer, he said, "I was always taught, if you can't say something nice about someone, then don't say anything at all. So I'm saying nothing at all." But nobody hated Bill Laimbeer more than Larry Bird.
Wow. So I'm assuming the only reason why this player, before it even begins, was hated was probably because he was a dirty player, more than likely. Typically, when a player is constantly getting in fights, things of that nature, and people who generally don't really get into it with people like that, and there's a common denominator, and then I see that Pistons jersey. All right, probably was a dirty player.
You never really ever liked Laimbeer in any social situation.
No.
Yeah.
And it's because he was a dirty player. The 80s, when I played, there was a lot of cheap shots. If you go back and watch the Pistons playing against Chicago, I mean, Michael and Scotty were getting pounded. And a lot of it happened after the whistle. Like you're going in and you get fouled, and the guy goes ahead and tries to, that's a free foul.
Damn.
Ricky Mahorn, he'd hit you and all that, but he'd hit you, you know you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
But he didn't try to maim you.
Right.
Bill tried to.
Hold on.
And tries to, that's a free foul.
You put them big monster monkey hands on me that hard, I am not going to respond with a push. But if I play for the NFL, that's it. I mean, you trying to hurt my career. It's not going to. That's one thing I will say about NBA players. A lot of them are soft. Not saying I'm a tough guy. I don't want people to get that impression. I don't think I'm a tough guy. But you're not going to hit me that way, and I'm going to push you in the face.
He'd hit you and all that, but he'd hit you, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
But he didn't try to maim you.
Right.
Bill tried to hurt you.
Yeah. That's just dirty, and you gotta make sure, you gotta send a message.
Back, so they reset it at 5. Laimbeer walked with it, then committed a foul, knocked Bird to the floor. Celtics are very unhappy about it.
Yeah, caught Bird in the jaw.
Yeah.
And Larry's a little upset.
Right.
And, he was one of them guys, you shoot a jumper, he tried to slide his foot underneath your ankle so you twist your ankle. And that's what.
Yeah, I can see why the NBA got rid of that.
In the jaw. Yeah. And Larry's a little upset.
I missed it.
He hit you and all that, but he
got it back, so they reset it at 5. Laimbeer walked with it, then committed a foul, knocked Bird to the floor. Celtics are very unhappy about it. Yeah, caught Bird in the jaw.
See, today, when players do it, it's usually a flop when they lay down like that. But back then, when you lay down and you stay down like that, it's pretty real.
Yeah, and Larry's a little
That's why he's on the ground.
And, he was one of them guys, you shoot a jumper, he tried to slide his foot underneath your ankle so you twist your ankle. And that's why Parrish
Did he really used to do that?
If you watch any of our old games, Parrish was always twisting his ankle against the Pistons. So one time I shot a jumper and Laimbeer did it to me, and I stepped on his foot, but I stepped on a high, didn't twist my ankle. I don't know, a quarter or two later, he was shooting that jumper. I slid mine on there. That's the last time he ever did it.
Really?
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
when Bill Laimbeer was called the NBA's.
It hurts. When you jump up and you land on somebody's foot and twist your ankle, it's a pain that lasts for me, like 4 or 5 days.
Last time he ever did it.
Really?
Yeah.
And when Bill Laimbeer was called the NBA's dirtiest player by Michael Jordan.
Laimbeer and Jordan. Yes, indeed. There are punches thrown.
He responded in a way that really showed his true colors.
Michael Jordan may be a very good, outstanding basketball player, but as a individual, down-to-earth, heart person, he has. I mean, who is he? Who cares about him? All he does is play basketball. In the world, he's this big.
Yeah, I can see why nobody liked him. And during the 1986 season, the All-Star team had just been announced. Bird asked a group of reporters if Laimbeer, who had been an All-Star the last 3 years with the Pistons, had made the team again. And when he heard Laimbeer was not selected, Larry Bird said, "Good. Now I won't have to worry about him getting on the bus and saying, 'Hi, Larry,' and me having to say, 'F you, Bill.'" But that year, they would still see each other in the playoffs.
I was always the one that came out first, and there's always a leprechaun out on the floor. I'd go out and spit right on the leprechaun, rub my foot in it, and then go down and make a big dunk.
Oh, come on. I mean, on the other hand, you need a good villain in the movie, in the stories. You have to have a good villain. I don't like this type of villain though. I prefer because in the Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, there is, I don't know who's the villain in that. This is a real villain. He's over here spitting on the logo on the mascot.
Leprechaun, rub my foot in it, and then go down and make a big dunk. Away we went.
Big baby.
The tension was obviously high, and in one game, Robert Parrish said, "I feel like Laimbeer took some cheap shots at me. I guarantee something will break out if they let it go next time." And though nothing happened the rest of that series, the very next year, they met again in the Eastern Conference Finals, and in Game 4, it got crazy.
I wonder what would have happened if somebody like Ron Artest, or maybe it did happen. You guys can educate me in the comment section, you NBA fans. If Ron Artest or Shaq or any of these type of players ran into Laimbeer, how you say his name? Bill Laimbeer. What would happen? Does he do this with everybody, or does he pick and choose who he does this with? To me, he seems like an equal opportunity employer.
Met again in the Eastern Conference Finals, and in Game 4, it got crazy.
Open people. C-Sting, and the 24-second clock goes down, and Bird and Laimbeer go at it. Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer have both been ejected from the game.
Now there's Bird throwing the ball at Laimbeer, and Rodman coming over.
Did he hit the target?
Now there's Bird throwing the ball at Laimbeer, and Rodman coming over.
Larry Bird said, "Laimbeer was backing away from me and didn't want any part of me.
Right.
I wish they would have cleared the court for about 15 minutes and just let us go at each other."
No, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to pretend like you're upset, and then as soon as you get close,
And Bill Laimbeer, in classic Bill Laimbeer fashion, he said, "I didn't do a thing. I tried to grab hold of him to break his fall, and Larry came up swinging.
Sheesh.
I was victimized, and Larry Bird responded, sure, he wasn't trying to hurt me, and I was trying to throw the ball at the referee. Bill's face just got in the way.
When you play the same team 4, 5, 6, 7 times right in a row within the space of about 2 weeks, it's got to be bad temper. Our ball club, I always feel, were retaliators, not instigators. And I think the other team, like Detroit, they are the instigators.
Who's this guy?
And in that next game, when Bill Laimbeer tried to come out and shake Larry Bird's hand, Larry looked at Bill and said, "Oof."
I knew it was coming. You need the T-shirt.
Yourself. I always have respect for my opponents, Larry said. But in my instance, I think Laimbeer was trying to hurt me.
Right.
So in Game 5, the Celtics got their revenge.
I was at the game, and the crowd just had so much hatred for Laimbeer for that game. I've never been in any sort of a sporting event where...
Is this guy still on TV? I haven't seen him in a while, but I don't watch TV. But I think I always liked him.
The crowd hated a player that much. And I still am convinced to this day that the crowd convinced Parrish to punch him in the second quarter.
Oh, no question.
Very gingerly tried to shoot that shot. Nice play by Darren Day. It doesn't fall. The tip by Parrish. He can't get it to fall, and Parrish takes Laimbeer to the ground with a right forearm. Well, they had said it was only a matter of time till somebody did this.
Laimbeer, he had it coming. That's, he had it coming.
About time. Really, the big man is supposed to handle that the first time it happens. If you notice a big guy blatantly foul the hell out of someone, you as the big man on the team, you need to do the next dirty shot. And you're supposed to send a message, even if you fight. But the next time, they won't do it again.
He had it coming.
Because you watch the replay and it was like barely he did anything.
It could have happened 2 plays before.
The cameras just got the part where Robert got mad, see? But nobody saw Laimbeer's elbow that hit him in the neck, right by the Adam's apple. And all he did was react because people are sick and tired of this guy with the baby face putting his
Would they record this with an Android?
Hands up all the time. Who, me? Meanwhile, he'll sucker punch you. He'll do everything in the game. So as I said once before, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, I was kind of looking over my shoulder, Max. I thought I was going to get sucker punched, to be honest. In the heat of the battle, we exchanged a few unpleasantries, then a few elbows that passed between us, and then I just lost throwing punches. So I couldn't believe I lost my composure like that.
Right.
That was the first time ever.
This play epitomized 80s basketball because not only did this flurry of punches result in no ejections and no technicals, but they didn't even call a foul.
Wow.
They just kept playing. Larry Bird called it a good deed. But sometimes, in the words of the great Frank Sinatra, the best revenge is massive success.
Beautiful pass.
Because later on that game, Larry Bird made the greatest play of his entire career.
We knew we had to win that game. Both teams knew that whoever won Game 5 was probably going to win the series. Casey had to play the starters almost the whole game. And so our guys were just completely worn out.
What did Bill average? Was he just a great defensive player who fouled the hell out of people and got rebounds? Or, was he a pivotal person on the team?
There's Bird off the screen from the corner. Oh. Basket by Larry Bird. That's a two-pointer. Detroit by 3 with 1:13, and
Bird is just unreal.
36.
The Celtics had been to the finals in 84, 85, 86, and now it's 87. We're all beat up. The guys that are playing are hurt. So, it was just guts. It was just a guts and pride.
3:41 to go in the game. Detroit leading by 2. And that man is playing on nothing but heart. He went out with an ankle injury that would keep most people out of the game, came back in, and now he's twisted it again.
Now, the Boston moment, that was a heartbreaking moment. What was heartbreaking about that moment is I had made the game-winning shot.
Everybody wants to beat the Pistons. Right now, Boston is first in line in that desire. They lead by 1, 27 seconds to go.
But I was on Isaiah Thomas, and he went one-on-one against me at the top of the floor. I thought I played pretty good defense, and Isaiah didn't get in the paint, and he took a jump shot, a contested jump shot, and it went in.
Out on the top of the floor against Seaston.
16 seconds. Seaston right in his face. Thomas with a very big bucket.
We go to the timeout. We know Bird's going to get it either on the left side or the right side. And we got the play figured out. We sent him left.
Wait a minute. So the game's still going? He said he got the game-winning shot.
The timeout. We know Bird's going to get it either on the left side or the right side.
And so I'm assuming Bird's going to miss it? Because he said he got the game-winning shot.
And we got the play figured out. We sent him left. About 5 of us come over there to try to block the shot.
There's Bird with the ball against Mahone.
He'll take it to the hoop. You can bet. He's going to try to draw a foul.
It's blocked. And Seasting hit it off of a Detroit player. No.
Ball goes out of bounds. And I'll never forget, everything just started. It went in slow motion. So I run over. We look at the bench. No timeout, nothing. So I run over and I grab the ball.
Detroit should have called a timeout, Brian, because they had a timeout left. They could advance the ball down to the other end of the floor. There's a shot somewhere. There's a photo that I saw that Chuck Daly is standing by their bench with his hands up, calling timeout. Isaiah, I remember to this day, he's standing there like this to the referee. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
So I grabbed the ball from the referee. Laimbeer's a good foul shooter. I never had taken the ball out. That wasn't my thing, right? I throw it up. Bird sneaks in. I didn't even see him.
Bird was moving right when he was inbounding the pass. And when you look at it from a...
What an idiot.
I throw it up.
Why wouldn't you call a timeout? What are you rushing for?
Got the ball from the referee. Laimbeer's a good foul shooter. I never had taken the ball out. That wasn't my thing, right? I throw it up. Bird sneaks in.
Nice.
I didn't even see him.
Bird was moving right when he was inbounding
Bird and I
the
hit
pass.
the shot.
And when you look at it from a couple different film angles, I mean, he threw it right to him on the move. And I had my back.
Yeah, he should have been coming towards the ball. He's backing up.
To where he was stealing the ball. So when I turned around, I was probably more shocked than anybody in the whole stadium that Bird had the ball in his hands.
And this is probably one of the most incredible plays that's ever happened against me and that probably I've ever witnessed. From an athletic standpoint, 2 people being in sync and just Bird just playing every second. And that's what the Celtics taught us, to play every second, not to play 47 and a half minutes.
I can only believe half of what Isaiah Thomas says.
But to play a full 48.
And he had a smirk on it. He knew the game was over, and he almost had a smile on his face when they gave him the ball, and he did not see Bird at all.
But the thing I remember the most is that Joker.
That Joker.
This is the out of bounds line. That Joker caught the ball, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, he going out of bounds. That dude did this, like a ballerina, right? And if you go back and you watch the play, that dude is on his toes. The baseline is right up under his toes. And in my mind, he must have stood there for about 5 seconds because everything was going in slow motion in my mind, right? And it's like, damn, how you doing that? And then DJ, out of nowhere.
You're romanticizing the hell out of this.
Right? Right. They are so in tune. They are so in sync. He catches Bird hits him. He catches the basketball, lay it up.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right at 1 second left. What a play by Bird.
I'm walking to the huddle, and as I come back out of the huddle, right, we try to take the ball out of bounds or whatever. Larry walks by and he goes, wow. Winks at me, right? I'm like,
The Celtics won that series in 7 games.
Wow.
When Bill Laimbeer tried to shake Larry Bird's hand again, Larry just ignored it and walked straight through it. Larry Bird.
Typically, they say this is unsportsmanly conduct, but for this one, you make an exception because when a person is a dirty player, you know, and they perform a dirty move on you that could potentially end your career, which means potentially take food out of your children's mouth, if you want to look at it that way. Yeah, you know, at this point, it's bigger than the game, you know, and you don't belong in the game when you're playing that way. You know, I love the tenacity and the passion he has in the sport. That's what's missing in the game today. He just needed to recalibrate that, you know, the way that he played the game. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. I could be completely off. You know, this is just me speaking extemporaneously.
Bird said, I don't like Bill Laimbeer. Why should I shake his hand? Even Isaiah Thomas, who was Bill Laimbeer's teammate for 11 years on the Bad Boy Pistons, had this to say about him. To tell you the truth, if I didn't know Bill, I wouldn't like him either. And when the Celtics retired Larry Bird's jersey in 1993, that hatred was still there.
If you've ever played basketball, especially if you ever played like 1-on-1 or a full court basketball, anything like that, and the person you're playing against someone who fouls you a lot, that's just a dirty player all the time. They're just hitting you. And then even a player, even worse than that, a person that fouls a lot, but when you call it, they lie like they didn't foul you, and then they make an argument about it. It's the worst experience. It takes all the fun out of the game. They're not fun to play with, okay?
Thank you. This seems like a perfect night. I mean, except for the fact that Bill Laimbeer couldn't be here. What would you tell him if he was?
Uh-oh.
We would probably hang him up with my number.
Okay. Thought he was going to say something else.
Because back in the day, the animosity was not for show. When they hated each other, they really hated each other. And it didn't stop when they retired. They were enemies for life.
I hate Larry Bird, but I respect the hell out of that man.
I respect Isaiah Thomas's talent. No matter how much I hate him, yeah, I respect his game.
Right.
But Bill Laimbeer's hate was on another level because he didn't respect anybody, not even his own teammates. In his last Detroit Pistons practice before he retired, Laimbeer elbowed the star player Isaiah Thomas and broke his rib. And when Isaiah Thomas got...
What? What?
His game.
But Bill Laimbeer's hate was on another level because he didn't respect anybody, not even his own teammates. In his last Detroit Pistons practice before he retired, Laimbeer elbowed the star player Isaiah Thomas and broke his rib.
From his own teammate? Now, I don't like Isaiah Thomas. I also think he's a bad boy. He had crazy handles, great speed, ability to get to that rack. But now that's a crazy NBA story if I've heard one.
And when Isaiah Thomas got angry, Laimbeer elbowed him again. Bill Laimbeer once said, I don't fight, I agitate, then walk away. But this time, Isaiah Thomas didn't let him walk away. Because in retaliation, Isaiah Thomas punched Bill Laimbeer in the head, breaking his own hand, resulting in Isaiah being sidelined for 8 weeks.
So do you have broken ribs and a broken hand?
Like I said,
he doesn't know how to throw a punch.
I can see why nobody liked him.
I don't give an inch at all on the court. I don't give anybody any respect. I think that's the major problem with a lot of other players is I don't respect their game. If they happen to get in the way, well, that's not my fault. That's their fault.
Every time he lands like that, it makes me cringe because I could have seen so many injuries that can happen with, especially with how high these players can get and how heavy they are.
I make no apologies for my game throughout my career. Whatever the general public thinks about my style of play, I really could care less.
I gotta say, I respect that he's standing on who he is. Gotta respect that. Really great story for Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer here. And that man was crazy. Okay, I've heard some Charles Oakley stories, a couple of those. You know, if you guys got some, share them with me in the comment section or if there's a video out there. But this guy is another animal, all right? And for him, what's interesting is that he was like it's like his religion. You know, he doesn't deny it. You know, he's like an evil genius in that way. He's like, this is what I do. You know, I don't care who doesn't like it. Anybody can get it, even my own teammates. It's a wild, crazy time. But yeah, you guys fill me in if you grew up watching this, so some of you guys can tell me some of these stories and validate if the things in this video are factual or not. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.
I did it.